be a great app.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Definitely. Oh man.
My timing was off on that.
Yeah. We live right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all know what this is about. Y'all know what's going on. We are in the building.
Let's go, baby.
And we ain't wasting no time, man. Let's get right to it. You heard? What's going on, B? What's going on, man?
My man, he's back. I am so excited to chop it up with my boy and hear about his big time experience, man. You've been seeing some big time ball right now.
Man, I know, I put on the flyer NY versus NY recap, man, but my experience at the NBPA Top 100 camp was amazing. So I think I should just add that right here because it only makes sense, man. Yo, B, my eyes was open. It was just like, once your eyes open, can't close them.
Crazy, man.
You know what I'm saying? You can't close them. And the amount of players that I seen there.
It's like going to an art show, man.
Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I want to thank everybody, the whole staff, excuse me, for inviting me down, show me nothing but love. I had the best of both worlds. I told the beast in the building, what up? They showed me nothing but love. And I had the media pass and I had the scout pass. So
yes, sir.
Right? Hold on.
I was gonna say you weren't there in the media capacity, dude.
We was in the building. We was in the building. I got more merch, but I ain't want to wear it tonight.
My guy was the scout there, man.
Yo, so look, right?
Yep.
So I had the scout pass and I had the media pass.
Right? And you were officially a scout, man.
Yes. Yes. So people don't understand. I'll be coming out with the report card soon for all you guys that I'm seeing. We gotta start evaluating you guys for real, so the rest of the world can understand and know what we got coming out of New York City. Yeah. And man, I gotta take my guy, my longtime friend, former teammate, legendary coach Tiny Morton out to lunch or dinner one of these days because he told me this a long time ago. And I was saying, yo, my motto is the official home for New York City basketball. That's my slogan.
Yeah.
Why should I care about what's going on outside of New York? Why should I care? Why should I care about these other guys outside of New York City?
Because you're going global, baby.
And then I get exposed to this camp and see all these players from all around the country. And I have to say that he was right, because when you come back and you watch basketball, you see it through a different lens. And I think that's all it took. Definitely want to shout out, my guy. He don't like to be named. He know who he is. You know what I'm saying? The plug, the kingmaker, that put me in this position. But
that's right.
It's just some real talk, right?
Yeah.
I know, people see me like the face of the brand of Basketball Heads and High School Basketball Weekly and what we're doing, but that's just all promotion so people can understand the movement and what it's about, and not knowing that there's some integral pieces like yourself, B, 5 films that kind of make
That's right, baby.
a lot of stuff happens. And I just want to say to New York, we have to get it together, and I'm talking just like New York City, right? Because we did represent, New York did represent as a whole, right?
No doubt.
So you got, and I named it, you got Dylan Mingo, who went down there and got MVP. Definitely was the best player in the camp consistently, and helping his team win, right? So I'm not just talking about individually, helping his team win and go undefeated throughout that weekend. And then you had guys like Deron Rippey who were just putting on just an exhibition down there. Like he is the closest thing, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. And I'm not gonna say like he is the exact same thing, but he just give me those vibes, like those Steph Marbury vibes.
Yeah.
Right? Where, he's a true point guard. He has the body that goes with it, the strength, right? He has the athleticism and the high IQ to go with it. So I'm gonna be posting that sometime this weekend. And
that's an interesting comp. I've always considered him like a baby Donovan Mitchell, but he's definitely grown more as a point guard for sure. Definitely a big time player, man. Big time recruit.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, y'all better open up your eyes. I'm seeing it on all levels. I'm seeing it with a team at Blair Academy, and I'm also seeing it with other players who maybe he knows or don't know, but making it happen. So that's what I'm more impressed with, right? And I know a lot of people. Now, you said that before, the Donovan Mitchell vibes and all that, but definitely when we talk about, and I'm not saying that he is the exact replica of Steph, but he give me those vibes. Definitely give me those vibes, and this is what people gonna be seeing soon. I don't care who won't like it, because this is what I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, you got to see them working behind the scenes. So
that's right. So this is what I'm talking about, right? This Brooklyn guard may be the closest we've seen to Starbury, the closest. Steph is one of one, but definitely, this kid is definitely shown that he's definitely deserving of that. But also,
and that doesn't mean, Pooh. That doesn't mean like that you're comparing his career at Blair to like Lincoln. Like that's not what we're doing.
Right.
We're talking scouting wise. Looking at the player and his potential. Especially at the next level and beyond. Like that's more what you're looking at. Like I know some people are gonna be like, "Whoa, what do you mean? Like, oh, he did it, Lincoln? Like, come on, that's not what we're talking about. Trying to project what the player may be, what he looks like, who he plays like." He definitely does give off some vibes, and he's a winner, man. He's a winner.
And CK said, to answer that question, yes. You know what I'm saying? So, we all can be crazy. But also guys like Lucas Murillo played well.
Oh my God, man.
He played well.
Getting offers from everywhere, Pooh. He's got a new high major every day. Every day.
I also proud of my New York guys. Zaya Jervis continued to show why people better stop sleeping on my guy. He don't talk a lot on the court. He ain't pounding his chest.
Yeah.
He ain't throwing up three signs when he shoot a three. He's not yelling in people's face. He's just a quiet assassin.
Dude, starting to work his way up the rankings. He's got 2 official visits with Northwestern and Rutgers set up coming up. And I wrote it on Twitter today. He's my front runner for Player of the Year for the Catholic League. So, this guy's a major superstar and should be on McDonald's watch too. This guy's a winner. He could win his 4th straight championship.
Nice. He may be Player of the Year in New York.
Yeah, easily.
The way he's playing right now.
Absolutely, man. He's going to score a ton of points. He's going to be the go-to guy at step and act scoring wise. And even when he's having an off night, he could help that team win with their other pieces. I mean, it's going to be an unbelievable senior year for Josiah Jervis.
Man, and there's so many others. We talking about Jada Swan, who played well. He showed why he belonged there. I just wish he played his last game. He didn't play his last game and the last day because he was injured. But he showed that he definitely belonged there. Another standout.
Which we knew he would. That's what Jada Swan does. Even if he's not 100%, he's going to compete. And, he's definitely showing the world he's a top 100 guy. And, honestly, between us, his ranking and everything was trending so fast and so crazy. Things have definitely slowed down, but never could sleep on the Swan, man, especially as the seasons get closer. He starts to pick up his game as the summer gets hotter,
Yeah, but the one thing he can't pick up the reputation of someone who gets hurt a lot, right? Because he was hurt during EYBL.
True.
Then he got hurt again in some other tournament, and then
he was banged up in the playoffs too, and he's tough as nails. There's no way that we would ever call him soft. But you're right, like you don't want that reputation, to become a flaw, for a prospect.
Right, and it's not calling. No, we're definitely not saying.
No, I mean, you saw him during that championship game.
Yo, you talking to scouts down there, and they were just saying, the Ratliff twins who were not there, because they were injured, and that's becoming a stigma of them, right?
Yeah.
Being injured a lot, right? And this is not coming from us. This is coming from other people. That's definitely in those major positions.
And it's valid. I mean, you're not playing, every event you miss, someone says, where's so-and-so? How's so-and-so play? Oh, they're injured, it starts to spread. People start going, oh, this guy's injured again, but that's part of what everybody deals with,
And my guy, Musa Kamasoko. Whoa. He gives me Jamal Faulkner vibes. So all the people that don't understand what I'm talking about, check out my guy Jamal Faulkner from back in the days, and you'll understand what I'm saying. This kid, he was on Charles Jones' team. Salute to CJ. Did a wonderful job out there with his team. He has some players on his team, some dogs. But Musa, man, he showed his versatility and definitely why he's, going to be the top sophomore in New York. Top junior next year. He's top sophomore this year. He's gonna be top junior this year. So
yeah, man. Him and Josh Rivera are gonna have a nice battle for their career to be that top guy from New York in 2027. But I mean, Musa has just had a great offseason. He looks so good. He's gonna be electric next year with Mingo. Another year in the Levi system. Kind of year 2 is when those guys usually take off, especially as a young guy. Jay David, Coach Buck, love him. They rave about him. He's a PSA kid. I mean, this kid is built for success, and he's starting to cash in. And in events like this, he's ready to go. I mean, he's just a guy who produces. He looks good in almost everything, right? He even drills good. I mean, he looks great in the classroom. He's just a kid that checks off a ton of boxes and is going to be a big time star in 2027.
Man, you called it. You called it, man. So my All-NBPA team.
Yeah, hit me with it, man. I can't wait for this. Let's go.
I didn't even put this up yet. So much stuff. Definitely. So I got, of course, Dylan Mingo MVP, Deron Rippey Jr., Nazir Anderson.
Wow.
Man, this kid, sophomore.
What a stock riser, man. Holy smokes. He changed his life at that event.
Unbelievable, this kid.
Right?
And we look at some of our sophomores and kids that's, in that class, and you're looking at his body and just like, man, if I say a kid like our young guy from Eagle Academy, right? Gio, right?
Yeah.
Gio got this kid body. Gio's definitely at that camp, but definitely one of the top 100 players in the country.
Yeah.
Right. But that's where you got to get into the gym. You know
Yeah,
what
and
I'm saying?
this kid's a freak. I mean, this kid's a monster. Holy smokes! Talk about a guy who just blew up on the scene. Like I said, changed his night overnight. He's probably got 20 high major D1 offers, and I mean, there's some other absolute monsters. I mean, Caden Samuels. I can't stop talking about this kid. He's
Woo!
he's just, you know what it is, Pooh. It's like it almost has me thinking with some of the way that these guys are starting to turn the corner. Is like, if I'm an NBA team, I need some draft picks, dude. I'm starting to look toward the future. I mean, this 2026 group, 2027, there's gonna be some stars coming out of the draft, man.
Right, man. That kid, Caden Samuel, is a bucket.
Dude, a bucket, man.
Unstoppable. Unstoppable. This kid was just like hitting everything.
I feel like he could average, 20 in college, no problem. I mean, this kid is a scoring machine.
And
Machine.
yeah, and of course, Olajuwon's son, Aziz Olajuwon, definitely one of the top players.
Yeah, talk about him kind of bursting on the scene. I mean, he was all over the Twitter. I mean, everybody was writing about him and how explosive he was.
Man, shutdown defender, runs the court, could shoot it. Absolutely a beast down low, great body. You could definitely tell his dad been working with him, and also his brother Malik, can't miss from the outside, right?
Yeah.
Jump shot, pure jump shooter, and a great point guard.
And we got to talk about the chosen one. What do you think about the big man from Bola 2027?
What you talking about? Baba.
Baba, sorry.
That's
Always call him
all
Bola.
right, all
Baba.
right. Yeah. Man, look,
The chosen one, bro. He's
when
the
he's
chosen
playing against, kids his age, you can see the pure domination. Now, mind you, he's definitely was one of those guys that was one of the top dudes. I can't say that. You could see the potential. But when he played against guys maybe a little bit older and more defensive minded and with a stronger body, it was hard for him to turn that corner, right? But again, he's young and he's still filling himself out.
Of course.
But definitely, he can shoot it. He's a great rebounder.
He's huge,
he gets
right?
to the hole. Yeah. he's everything that everybody been talking about. But once you see the potential of that and where he's going with it. Definitely one of the top players and definitely the top sophomore in the country, along with Nazir, man. I'm just gonna keep praising Nazir, man, because every time I saw him, he was just putting on. But then we got Cameron Williams, right? Cameron, big time player. All of 6'9", 6'11", strong body, run the floor, block shots. He got moves down low, like real moves. A lot of these guys who I guess have that potential, right? There were guys down there that it was a guy that played with Charles. I can't forget his name right now. I should have wrote it down. He was projected to 2028 first pick of the draft.
Oof.
But he didn't have the moves that Cameron was. But and when I'm starting to think about what the NBA sees compared to what the high school guys see, we talk about pure potential, body wise, the way they run the floor, their hands, and all of those things, the physical specimen of the player. But Cameron Williams, definitely one of those guys, and I think he remind me of my guy Kurt. What's my guy who played for the Knicks?
Kirk Thomas.
Yes. Like one of those glue guys where he gonna make an NBA team somewhere and he's gonna be around for a long time.
He's gonna end up, having a GM, getting an extension somewhere, probably in the NBA.
There you
One of those type of guys,
Yeah. Makai Gordon. Whoa.
Oh man. Whoa. Man. Him and the guy Kinney. Him and Kinney, man. Those are two of the deadliest guards in the country, man.
This kid, I'm talking about smallest guy on the floor.
Tough, man.
He hurt his hand, he got it wrapped up, came back, still giving out the business. This guy is a winner. When I'm talking about going to the hole amongst the bigs, shooting that 3-point shot, playing defense 94 feet. Just amazing. Just amazing. Every time I turned around, he was doing something fantastic on the court.
That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. A lot of great reports. I'm a big fan, and for him to go down there and step up is awesome. And I mean, I'm so impressed you got the overtime guys on here. I mean, those two guys definitely are no joke from that overtime league, man.
Listen,
I mean, how good was Cole Rosario?
Cole Rosario, oh man, this kid right here, a straight up baller.
Right.
Straight up baller. He has the physique of like a Greek god. Like this kid, this kid body frame was off the chain. Lefty, straight killing it, goes to the hole like a monster, can shoot the three, plays defense, and if you don't got the body to stay in front of him, he's just going to absolutely embarrass you.
Yeah, right. Big time, big. I mean, there's the reason you go from no offers to 50, almost 50 offers or whatever he had.
He was down there putting in that pain.
Yep.
He was definitely and got a spelling error. That's EB Favor. Man, another big body man, big body. Potential is out this world. Definitely played well. And did his thing. Anthony Thompson, of course.
Super high recruit.
Man, this kid is definitely gonna make somebody at their university very happy.
Yeah.
Taylene Kinney, what can we say, right? One of the top scorers, went back and forth with Dylan Mingo. Dylan came out on top.
The guy's got his own energy drink already, Foo.
Look, come on. That kid, whoever's marketing that kid they're doing their job, what they're supposed to do. And I had to put my guy Moose on there because, out of all the other guys that was there, he just showed me his well-roundness. Right. Yeah. Could have easily been a Josiah Jervis or here, Lucas Murillo as well. But that kid, Musa, showed definitely that he had his hand in the box on the whole stat sheet.
Yeah.
Sayon Keita was definitely good. And Tristan Reed wrapped it up, my All-NBPA team. So I just wanted to go through that before we get into this.
It's a solid roster, man. I'd go to war with those boys.
Man, it was a great experience, and so many other players that could have been put on that list.
Yeah.
But I just want to put out those guys who kind of stood out to me a little bit more. And again, hey, I know 3 of the guys that I had on there, the NBPA had, on their first team. So I know I'm right there.
How good was that MVP, by the way? How good was Mingo in the event?
Mingo. I know my guy, Shake said he's, closer to what did he say? He was close to my guy that played for the LA. What's my guy name?
Who do you call him? Maxie? Who do you call him?
No, he called my guy that played for the LA, not Lakers, the Clippers. The guy for the Clippers.
Who?
Not George, but the other guard. Somebody help me out, man. Kawhi. I got so many names in my head, and I ain't gonna act like I remember all these names. Kawhi Leonard, but that week he was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Oh.
This kid not only was getting to his spots, he was shooting the midi so crazy, and he was getting to the line at least 9-10 times a game. Right. And not only that, Mingo could shoot the 3. He wasn't out there pulling up from 3 the whole time. He was taking them when he had them, but also he was getting to the rack and making his teammates better because he had a very good team.
Yeah.
Right. So you saw with him at that 6'6" frame, passing that ball and getting it to the line and making things happen. So to me, how I looked at it, he was closer to in that camp to SGA than anything.
It's so great to hear, like they just been waiting to unleash him in Lehigh, and he's been surrounded by so much talent over the past few years. And they just been, I can't believe how much better he's gotten through practice alone. PSA's done a phenomenal job with him, but to see him playing like this, and I've been loud and proud that I said he's the top guard in 2026. He's making me look real good. That's all I could say from from what I've heard from these events.
The most well-rounded guard, right? A lot of these
Yeah.
guys can score, and he can score too, but far the most well-rounded, yes, definitely. Did you see any players that could play in the NBA right now? Right now? Nah. Not right now.
And maybe I told Beats like make a team.
Yeah, for sure,
Yes.
for sure.
But
For
like
sure.
contribute and be a guy, that's tough to say.
It's tough to say right now. I want to see what these guys do in college first, right? I don't want to jump the gun because we could talk about all these McDonald All-Americans and all these guys. A lot of these guys don't really be panning out, especially if you look at the top draft picks compared to the guys who has an impact in the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And Pooh, you got to also think about how much changes, right, from the end of those rankings senior year to the end of that ranking after their freshman year of basketball, right? Some of those guys who are up so high don't even play where some of the places they go to, right? Like a guy will be number like 40 in the rankings, he won't play, and then number 88 will lead college basketball in scoring. So they really kind of separate themselves once they get on the court that year. And the rankings kind of don't mean anything at that point, right?
Because you got to start over, baby.
Right, exactly. You're starting over. Exactly right.
Got to start over. All right. Let's get to the nitty-gritty, right? Let's get to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, because this weather, man, has turned down. It has ruined the summer, the beginning of the summer. It's been so bad. The golf course, the people are crying about the weather. Every weekend it rains. And when NYNY is here, what happens again? It rains again, man. Again.
That's right. For old town's sakes. For old town's sakes, bro. We are about to start it right now. and I want to say salute to my guy, Coach Orlando. I went out to meet him early at Lincoln Park. And I was like, yo, they got to bring this inside, bro. He was like, nah, they got the machines. I was like, yo, bro, this is too dangerous. They can't afford to have these kids out here like this. Man, they moved to the side Eagle Academy, which can only fit not even a quarter of the people that would have been out there.
How many people were turned away?
Hundreds.
That's why, I was at work and I was checking in. I was like, man, there's no way I would have got in. That line was around the block, man.
Well, listen, if you'd have, called your guy, probably could have made some things happen, man. You know what I'm saying? Five was a little late, but we got five in the game as well. Salute to my homegirl Kim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Gotta appreciate the people that take care of you and those stuff. It's hectic, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, definitely crazy.
That gym was mobbed, bro. Mobbed.
Man, crazy. All right. So, we got to the top 100. And definitely my warning to the New York City coaches and players for all the things that I saw in New York versus New York.
Oh, last thing I want to ask you. Who is your favorite athlete or coach that you got to see at the event?
Man.
There was some nice NBA guys there.
John Wall, Isaiah Thomas, Andre Drummond. You know what I'm saying? They was all there. And a few more, Kyrie was, in the area and but I'm gonna have to go with my guy, Charles Jones, man. He was definitely, man, he was in his bag. There's one time they was blowing out this one team, and you could saw him on the sidelines just letting everybody know that, yo, he got some dogs in his team. So salute to my guy, Charles Jones. Definitely.
Had to do that. Had to ask you before we got to the NY.
Nah. But definitely, before we close it to this half-hour mark, I want to say my warning to New York City players: get in the gym. We cannot turn into the city of hype. I'm gonna say this again: we cannot turn into the city of hype. We have to get in the gym and we have to do the thing that's going to make us better players. We have to get in shape to make sure that our bodies are durable and can sustain the pressure of playing the amount of games that you guys play. All right? And pick and choose where you want to play at.
Thank you. That's
pick and choose
another
where
one.
You want to play at, because you can't play in all these tournaments. and wear your body down. And when it counts, you're not ready to play.
Yeah. Or half the time you're just sitting there, right?
That's a fact.
You're not even playing.
That's a fact.
Got to pick and choose. Let's go,
yes.
baby.
Let me see if I got okay, you hit me back. Okay. So this week, we saw the New York versus New York, and the first game of the night was Tri-State versus West Fourth.
6
and this
teams,
was
right, Pooh?
6 teams played that night. Yep. This was the debut of New York City legendary coach Tiny Morton, and he showed why his exceptional coaching style was missed from the New York City sidelines. All right. And I think they were saying that, I'm not too sure, but I know they mentioned it that night that Tri-State got his first win in all the years.
Wow.
Been in the New York versus New York on his first night. Not saying his first win overall, but a first night win. So, and again, they kept saying it, and of course, it was for the fact that Tiny was on the sidelines with his players. He had his LWA players there. Now, I'm gonna say this, and I've been telling Tiny this for a long time, and he could back this up. I've been telling him for a long time that Caleb Popote is that fucking guy. Like, people could say what they want, I know you look at the kid and go, oh, he's a little scrawny kid and he's okay. He's more than okay. He gets to the basket when he want to get to the basket. He could shoot the long ball, right? He's just an absolute scorer.
Oh yeah.
Right? And he's a super athlete. The kid can get up with the best of them. Right? And also he gets at it on defense. Just give that kid the ball and let him do what he's going to do, because he showed out day one with 25 points.
Wow.
And you can't find them on any of the highlight reels.
Really?
Now, Kamari White, who actually had a very good game, he had 23 points. Not saying he didn't deserve that. He did deserve that. He definitely came back to New York and showed people what they've been missing. Because him being up at Vermont Academy, we didn't get to see his last year, right?
Yeah.
Or get to see him last year. So we got to see him come back to New York and put on for the city. But Caleb Popote, who's been at Scaling and now at LWA, definitely is a player that should be getting a lot of attention. He's one of those guards that you look at and be like, I'm not going to say like Allen Iverson, right? Because Allen was small like him, but he got to it. Caleb was getting to the Baja with dudes bigger than him, scooping layups, both sides, catching dunks, shooting threes. And at the end of the game, when you look at the stat sheet and you see how much this kid has, you saying to yourself, damn.
Yeah, you got to respect
25, he's the leading scorer?
Yeah.
So, again, I don't want this to be like, he just saying this now. Me and Tiny talk a lot, and I've always told him that kid Caleb.
Yeah.
That kid Caleb, the one, he gonna get at it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy totally under the radar, showed a lot of potential at Scanlon. I think has taken, like you said, a huge jump, not only offensively, but defensively. I feel like he plays hard on defense, Is he a finished product? No. But at the same time, he's way more competitive on defense. He could score the ball in a ton of ways. And listen, like, in the beginning, I would say the problem was his volume of shots that he needed to get those 25 points. But I feel like he's gotten better at that, Like, I don't think he took 20 shots to get those 25 in that New York. He was very productive.
Oh, for sure. Very productive. Very productive. And look, Troy Faison didn't have a great game. He was going back and forth with the kid AB.
Oh man, that kid is a handful, dude.
He's a handful, but those LWA guards showed why they can compete with them. And
hey, they were right there, man. Right?
Look, Troy didn't have a good game, but his backcourt partner had 25. Pick your poison. What you want to get, right? What you want, right? So, salute to them, man. And they
anybody
won that
else
game.
on that team play well besides Caleb?
Hold up, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, just if you remember.
No, because I got the stat sheet in front of me. Julian was out there doing his thing.
Good.
They had a big kid Zion out there that played well. Kamari, Josh Rivera had a couple of points.
Okay.
So they did their thing. They did their thing and was good. Who was this? Hold up. Well, I got both there. That's crazy. I got two of the same stat sheets. But yeah, West Fourth, definitely. They stayed in it, but what's the name? Tri-State was just a little bit too much for them. And then the next game, which was the rematch of the championship, Gersh versus Watson. So now, this is where the controversy starts, right? Because Watson had a lot of implants.
Yeah.
Right?
Did they have a lot of implants last year?
Yeah. They was from New York. A lot of those guys were from New York. They were just from upstate, so they're not implants.
Yeah, like Tillery, right? Keyshawn and them. Yeah.
Right.
They are from upstate, so
right. So that's not. But this year, the controversy was that they had Amadou,
Corey, right?
Right.
And
they
my
had
guy Amir, right?
Amir, and another kid who was out there that absolutely super dominant.
Yeah.
Super dominant. But I'm saying to myself, if you got Jada Swan, you got Connor Spradley, you got my guy who came back, Asher Elson.
Yeah.
That's the kind of even the stat sheet right there.
Yeah.
But they also had the 7-footer. I don't know if he was up from upstate New York or not. He may be the 7-footer that's from Albany Academy that was there, the big kid. Hold on. I was waiting
you have to give me his name.
His name as well. But they had a 7-footer there as well. And he was okay, but still, I just thought it was balanced enough to where they shouldn't have got blown out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck. When you get blown out like that, that goes to the coaching, right? That when you get blown out like that on the first night, we can say, these kids,
especially a rematch, right? Especially like
you already know what you're gonna be up against, so you better come prepared.
You know how much juice is gonna be in this game too. Like everybody's on this one.
They absolutely tore Gersh another. It was bad, bro. It was good in the beginning, but then second half came and they just pulled away and
they were just playing with them,
get back. So now, let's talk about the controversy, right? Because people were saying online that, and I was waiting we had a guest that was going to come up because he had sent me a post saying, should New York versus New York only be with New York City kids? And I'm saying to myself, whenever you have an entity such as Nike, right, a corporation, they're looking at the best possible kids for their brand, right?
Of course.
That's what they want to do and what they're going to do. And if New York City don't have the star power to sustain that, they're going to bring in other players for that. The same thing they do on the girl side.
Yeah.
And Kim told me this. Kim didn't told me this. She said she's a New York City coach. She said, "Pool, we only did with New York versus New York with New York City girls. Nobody will watch it." Now, do we have the star power in New York City to sustain this huge conglomerate of a corporation such as Nike? Now, I'm not going at our players. You know, I love our players, bro. We go to bat for these kids all the time. But do we have the sustaining power? And it's going to show, because if Watson runs through everybody and blow everybody out, it's going to go back to my warning that I made when I came back from the NBPA Top 100 camp.
And you know how bad that team wants to win? I mean, Amir Jenkins wants to win bad. New York.
And Amadou Toure, who played with Gersh last year and didn't get any playing time.
Yep.
After winning MVP in the Under Armour Top 24.
Wow.
So he's like, oh, yeah, you have me on the bench? I'm going to show you why you shouldn't have me on the bench.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah. I keep the receipts.
Yeah. Wow. So that was a beatdown. That was a straight up beatdown.
Straight beatdown.
Damn.
Disgusting.
And who's on that Gersh team again? We got to call them out, man. I want to hear them. They definitely had guys. Come on now.
They had Jada. They had Connor. They had Asher Elson. They had Trey Lewis. They had AJ Moody, who didn't play to the fourth quarter. I don't understand that. You're starting point guard. He doesn't play to like garbage time. Like, you put him in a position to be a point guard to run a team. Put him in early. Delgado was used subparly, which I know he's going to be the star for Nazareth this year.
Yeah.
I put him in position to be who he's going to become, right? And a host of other players that they had on their team, but it just wasn't enough. I think when you playing against that super team that Watson that put together was crazy. They had Josiah Jervis is on that Watson team.
Yeah.
Was killing, right? And then after all the players that they had Dylan Mingo just waiting, like he was in street clothes, like, I don't even got to play this game. So just imagine when we come to the championship and I show up with my Superman cape,
right?
Who's gonna be able to do anything with that team?
Not many, man. I mean, I guess people weren't respecting putting together rosters as serious as it should have been.
Again, when we talk about New York City basketball, do we have the players to sustain the star power and the fight that you're going to need to go against these out-of-town basketball players who are going to come into the city and infiltrate and, make New York City look bad?
Like, yeah, maybe it's too separated, not united enough.
Man, if we stop hating on each other, if we learn to collaborate more with each other, right? It'll be nothing stopping New York City basketball. But we all want to hate on each other. We all want to lie, and we all don't want to support each other. So it looks crazy. So when other people come in, it just exposes what we already gone through.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that every roster slot isn't a New York City guy, is a little upsetting, to be honest. You tell me we can't create 6 all-star teams? Come on, dude. Really?
Now, when it comes to that, and not for nothing, when it came to that Dykeman team, hold on for a sec.
Mingo didn't even play.
Mingo didn't even play, man. Mingo didn't even play. That's how bad it was.
Oh, my God, dude.
So, hold on. I'm trying to get to what I need to get to. That Dykeman team, they were loaded with all New York City players. That's the one thing I could give, and the Tri-State had mostly all New York City kids on that team as well. All New York kids, right? That's mostly. So those two definitely. Lincoln Park had implants. West Fourth as well. Then I think maybe but they team wasn't that good anyway. So, and Dykeman, of course, Louis Morello, Mel, Ray Kennard. Who else they had on that team? They had a few other guys who, hold on, because I just saw this the other day. Today, actually. Ray Kennard actually played phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Kennard actually played phenomenal.
Yeah, that Malloy got a great steal right there.
Oh yeah. He's definitely. They had my guy from Hayes,
Fields. Oh, Gaiman.
Damon. They had Gaiman, definitely. And then they also had, our guy Tavion Tyler from Mount Vernon.
Yep.
Right. So that five that they had was definitely a solid five, all New York kids, and they played well together. And they blew out Lincoln Park, blew them right out the park.
Wow.
I mean, right out the gym. And they had a few implants, and it just didn't go well together. Right. A lot of times when you get, all these kids who never played together or not used to playing with each other, that's when it comes to the coaching.
Yeah.
That's when the coaching kind of takes over, and does what it needs to do to get them on that finish line.
And we're not saying run
to that
plays
finish
to it.
line.
We're just talking concepts, holding them
Yep.
accountable, making sure guys are playing the right way and sharing the ball and taking the right shots and things like that, because it gets out of hand, and obviously it gets out of hand quick, but, as something that's definitely turned into a prestigious thing. And the crowd was great. All these people put so much production into it, and I respect so much of that. But were you a little disappointed opening night? Couple blowouts and some implants?
Yes.
Yes.
We left. No, it's sad that I couldn't even watch the whole Dykeman versus Lincoln Park game because I was done already. Like we left at halftime. Like me and Fowler, we was like, yo, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
It was done. The event started a little late because they had the rain situation. They had to kind of set up, but that wasn't it. The production wasn't it. It was you don't want to see blowouts on opening night. Like how the hell you having a blowout opening night?
Yeah.
2 of them bad.
Yeah.
The best game was the first game.
Yeah, and people are filing in during that crap.
Tri-State
right?
versus West 4th was a great game.
Yeah.
And of course, the second game was good in the first half, but then Watson was just beating us out of Gersh. They was just beating them. Belt boys, they was getting belt to ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, that's what we talk about, right? Like sometimes when you're playing too many things and you're not 100% prepared, like, it's not just an AAU like pool C game, you know what I mean? Pooh at 8 a.m. Like there were tons of people watching this, you know what I mean? Like that's why if you're gonna play, you got to bring it 100%. Because like we always say, it might have been the first time somebody saw those guys ever play.
Yeah. Like Tri-State has the best team. Hey, Tri-State, look.
They're tough, man.
I already know. Yeah, pause. I got you. Listen, and I'm not just saying this, because the relationship, everybody know that Tiny and I have. But if anybody could give Watson a run for their money, I think it would be LWA. I say LWA Tri-State, right? Because of course, he has his LWA guys on that team.
Yeah, Diaz too, right?
Right. So just imagine when Diaz come back.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen with Eddie Lau, son that was on that team. Hank Williams that was on that team. They were there. They, and got some sparingly playing time. But I don't know when the chips come and when we talk about, they get further in the tournament and the chance to win that championship. I don't know. Tiny may make a phone call or two to make sure that he's not embarrassed out there like Gersh. And at this point right now, you look, people can say what they want. Why are they bringing in, other players? Then the New York players got to step up. Now, if Gersh wins that and blow Watson out, then we could go, yo, what y'all bringing in the implants for? What you need? We got our own stars right here.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
If we really looked around, Pooh, right, and we really chopped it up, like I said, we could totally have 6. But think about how many kids aren't playing in it, from big-time programs in the Catholic League or the PSAL. I mean, there's guys missing all over that should be playing in this thing. Whether they weren't called or whether they're not available, that happens, I guess. But like you said, it's got to be more unified and more together if we're going to be able to say that New York City is strong enough and has enough depth, on its own.
Yo, Andy, I'm gonna give props where props due, because we're not finished talking about. We're still on that. We're still on Watson. All right, so definitely salute to Coach Hood, because to put that team together and have them play together.
And that was the first thing you talked about. First thing you talked about was the coaching impressed you the most, I think, of opening night. You said the coaching that was on point was definitely the most impressive thing of the night. So definitely wasn't all about the implants, but we definitely hit on that coaching spot. You talked about how important Tiny was, and got that big opening night thing done. But
yeah, but hold on, and I don't mean to cut you off, yo. I'm glad you up here, Andy, because who gets overlooked when we talk about the implants, right? Who gets overlooked? Kalen Destin. Kalen Destin gets overlooked.
Yeah.
He was out there showing why he's the best shooter in the city.
Yeah.
Man, I always, we talk about this all the time. I wish he would have never left Hayes, because he would have definitely been runner-up, definitely been first team All-City, and definitely been runner-up for Player of the Year, because he was putting on an absolute shooting exposition. He just showing you like, oh, New York City players can't shoot. Kalen Destin.
I know that Hayes team,
3
right?
big threes in a row, right? Getting to the hole and, doing this thing. But we talking about one of the quickest releases, one of the sweetest forms, and best jump shots. Kalen Destin was definitely a star amongst stars that night, and was definitely overlooked, because the big story of the night were the implants.
Yeah.
So this is why I wanted to make sure I had Caleb Popote, Kellen Destin, and when we move over to our next game, we talking about Dykeman and Lewis Carrillo Morse, who we all talked about. He's definitely going to be the top 5 player in the city next year. I was telling the coaching staff at St. Ray's that kid is a star. He showed it during the city championship game, which leading to his great spring, and going to have a great summer coming back next year. Definitely one of the top talented players we have in New York City.
No doubt, man. No doubt. And it's just one of these guys that, like, I was excited for NYvsNY, because I was hoping he'd be in it, and he is. And, he's red hot. He was one of your favorite guys, and I fell in love with him too over that playoff run. He was fantastic. He's looked even better in the spring. He's trimmed down. He's the guy who's
his body looking pause.
Dude,
like
he's all in.
He's all in. He's been working. I remember that kid when he was a freshman.
No doubt.
Definitely.
I know. I didn't even. I barely recognized him when I saw him in the video, his latest video. I mean, the kid is definitely all in, putting in the work, getting ready, and he's definitely going to be one of the top guys for the Ravens next year as they look to rebuild from the Stores and Turnage era.
Nah, no doubt, man. Got our guy. What up, Drew? He said, I feel like New York versus New York should be strictly New York City players. Yo, I get that, man. I get what you're saying. And look,
yeah.
If people could only hear some of the debates that me and
now,
my
Pooh,
guy,
like he's on to something, but like, what do you think of like that being the requirement? But you can have a transplant like a Dylan Mingo or a Keyshawn Tillery from upstate, or like Ron's from the city. You know what I mean? Like Ron could definitely play in this.
No,
You know
but
what I
it's New
mean?
York versus New York. It's not New York City versus New York City.
Yeah, exactly,
You
exactly.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because he said NYC players. You know what I
that's
mean?
that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, if Nike would do it the right way, New York versus New York, Baltimore versus Baltimore, Philly versus or DMV
Correct,
versus
correct, correct.
DMV, right? And then you have the best team for each area
It'd
play
be
each other.
awesome.
Then now we're talking about something.
Yep.
Now
Now
we're
you
talking
got a
about
best
something.
team. You got a best team from each state that could compete in a big tournament. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's what I'm saying. Other New York players,
Yeah.
true. If
Agreed,
it,
CK. Yeah.
if you know, there's a lot of players upstate.
Yeah, yeah. You got to have the Tilleries. You got to have like the guys from up there. 100%. I agree. And you got to have Long Island guys too. You know.
Right, but
Yeah.
it's so many teams, and when you got all the parks that's in the city, they don't got a Bowman Mac.
Yeah.
So just
And like, how could you
imagine
not
it's a
have a Mount
Bolden Mac.
Vernon kid? How could you not have a Mount Vernon kid in New York, New York? Come on now.
And they did. They did. They
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
Tavion,
But you
right?
know what I mean? If we just made it NYC, you know, that's different. New York, New York.
Yeah, they had some Jersey kids as well.
Tons
Again,
of kids. Kids from Massachusetts are playing in the event.
yeah,
Connecticut.
right. But you got to expand the brand. You can't have it. And that was just my argument. Why call it NY versus NY and have other kids from other players from other states play? That's
Yeah.
just it's now again, you gotta rebrand the whole thing. So now when you got a New York versus New York, now it becomes something else.
Yeah.
And now kids
Mhm.
from New York won't be invited to the party because of the
Exactly. Like
impact.
you're gonna have a team that wins that's full of Connecticut kids. Like, how is that New York versus New York? Now, listen, this isn't us bashing it because, like we said, it's put together so well. There's so many great people involved. I love watching it. There's so much exposure for the kids that I want it to be New York kids. You know, this is a great event for New York. You know, we're just trying to get our voice out there that we want as many New Yorkers in it as possible.
That's what it's about,
Mm-hmm.
right? But again, the owners got to fall on the coaches and also the players. Do New York have the players or the star power? Because we have the players, and we dealing with a big conglomerate like Nike, which promotes its stars, right? It's into promoting its stars, no matter what. They're into promoting stars, right? Do we have the star power to sustain the brand of New York versus New York? That's what we're talking about across the board, right? So we have 3 teams that's good, that has a whole bunch of stars, and the other 3 teams, a whole bunch of average players. It doesn't balance it out. Do we have enough to fill out those 3 parks?
Yeah.
And to make it a quality game? Because we saw the other night there were 2 blowouts.
Yeah.
Can't
They
happen.
really should
It
do
shouldn't happen.
a big pool and should do a big draft. You know? That's what they should do.
It says the future of New York basketball said that's why the players work hard for, to get opportunity to play in some of these, like these big circuits. I get it.
Absolutely.
I get it. But do everybody get invited to the party?
Yeah.
Hood, yo, I'm gonna give again, but this is what happens, right? When you got a great coach like Coach Hood, who does a great job, right? Because you got to be able to manage those players and be able to put those players in position to win.
Facts.
I get that. So salute to Coach Hood for everything he's done and have continued to do for Watson, right? I've been saying this, but all of us is not hating. That's true. That's true, Rudy King. That's true. But what happens is when you get all of these other players involved, it takes away from us discussing Coach Hood coaching ability. Because now the focus is not on his coaching, it's on the other players of the implants.
Yeah, the roster.
It switches the focus.
And like
now, could you just win with just Watson players?
Yeah. And Pooh, like, can't we go younger? I mean, throw some younger kids in the mix, dude. They don't have to be 2025s and 2026s. I mean, New York City's got plenty of young kids. I mean, at New York.
But again, I'm going to say this again. Do we have the star power? Now, I think
yes.
Right. I think if they don't have the implants and Delamingo played and Nigel, a lot of these guys are out at school, right? So it's hard to fill up those other star players when a lot of those guys left to go to school already, right? So now who you left with? They could have added Musa. It was so many other guys. That Musa was at the top 100 Nike camp. So you got a lot of kids who are not here, and they got to make sure that that they keep their crown on their head and got to do what they need to do. But last year y'all did it with all New York players.
Yeah.
Mostly. It wasn't like it was the other day. They had those 3 kids that they had on their team was super. They're in the top 100.
Yeah.
Right? If you got 3 of the kids that's in the top 100, what is that saying? That's not from here.
Yeah.
So it takes the focus off the coaching, right? Which again, we know that great coaches, it takes a great coach to bring those kids together to win in the fashion that they won.
Yeah.
Because they kicked Gersh.
Yeah.
Bad.
But you're right. You're right. Like, you brought up a great point. Like, I was watching tape and highlights of a player who was fantastic. I mean, the kid was fantastic, but he was not from New York. Like you said, AB is not from New York. He's from a different area. He's a big time recruit, big time prospect. And he gets a video and he's a fantastic player. I don't blame anyone for taking video of that kid. He's great. But like you said, that could have been another kid from New York, maybe getting a spotlight or maybe getting more shine or even blowing up,
And this is, look, my guy, NYvsNY, he always collab. I couldn't collab with him today because there was a video just of all the implants. Now, I'm not knocking them, but we got to highlight our kids a little bit more. We got to highlight our kids a little bit more. And I agree with the future of New York basketball when he says, don't call it New York versus New York. Just call it Summer Madness or something like that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying that kids shouldn't be playing in the tournament.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't say New York versus New York and it's not.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, Nike does a great job production-wise, class act corporation that does what they need to do and does a lot of things for New York, right? So salute to them. But what's going to start to happen is going to be so many kids from out of town and very few kids from New York City or New York getting a chance to play in this, and they look forward to doing this when they get of age or be able to get picked in that.
Yeah. And like you said, right? Like, do one for each state. It'll stay just as popular, probably even more, because more kids will be able to play in it. And then you could have the battle of the best of the best, and everybody could go for that top spot. I think that's a simple fix for everything right there, Put it in other states. Or like you said, call it Summer Madness, which is great. Have an out-of-town team. That's fine. That'd be great.
That's a fact.
Have the out-of-towners with, 15 guys who are out of town and show how great they are, But yeah, definitely the purity is definitely a little different. But who knows? Week 2, whole new story. And shout out my guy on the mic, man, running around in that heat, man, with that costume on. Just Ching always cracks me up, man.
Yeah, him and Jaden does a great job, man. Always
He
doing a
makes me
great
laugh too
job.
much. That's my only problem. He's always got me laughing at him.
Now it's it's definitely something that's going around the city right now, and especially when you lose like that, now it gets talked about, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, Brooklyn getting their butt beat by the Bronx again, but it's unfair because the Bronx got all these other players, whereas before they was losing to Brooklyn and it was just all kids from Brooklyn,
Yeah, which is
right?
great. Which is the goal, right? The goal.
So that means it just goes to show you that when it comes down to 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 the to the meat of things, where all the ball players are in Brooklyn, the other players in other areas got to bring in implants to compete with that. That's what that's saying. And again, Long Islanders look good, and the basketball heads, New York Supremacy game, Long Island won, and in the Bolden Mac game, right? Long
Yep.
Island won. So it's not like we don't have the players. We just got to go out and get them.
Yeah. I think the city's getting a little lazy, Pooh. I think that's where I'm at.
And this is my warning.
Yep.
This is my warning. We can't turn into the city of hype.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, New York will swallow the city as a whole, and it'll just be considered New York basketball, not New York City basketball.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Says DJ got what whatever, my bad, I can't read your name, I need glasses, but my guy DJ said it has to get better, point blank, and also said we can't go to their city and do this. Why? Because everybody wants to beat New York and beat us. Ooh.
Harsh words right there, baby.
Right. Can we infiltrate their cities and come and play in their joints?
Yeah.
But since again, and this goes back to me saying early in other episodes, at New York City is the mecca of basketball. So when you come here, you get on a big stage, you get the most press. We got the most media here. You should have saw the sidelines. It was way more media than people in the stands. It was crazy. But you get so much attention here. People want to come here and beat us just to show us that we are better than you.
Yeah. They got to realize they got a target on their back, man. You know?
And this is why you guys get prepared. You just can't go on your Instagram clips and TikTok and YouTube likes and followers.
You can't rely on the high school season, man. You got to be working, man. Working. Got to be getting better. If you're not getting better, somebody else is. So.
And if we just talk of New York City, and Jada Swan was the only New York City kid besides Rippy, but Rip plays in another state, right?
Yep.
Right? Now, could he have gotten this good staying in New York? Is it a reason why his dad chose to go to another state and put him at Blair Academy? Right? Is there a special recipe to going out of the state to getting better and coming back? Right? Is there now if we only had Jada Swan from New York City in the top 100, not including Rippy, what is that saying about New York City?
Yeah. Well, Jervis was there, right?
Yeah, my bad. Can't forget. I forget.
Jervis.
That's right.
I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute.
That's right. Yeah, Jervis.
But yeah, you're
Jervis.
right. You're right. Just a couple sample
Just those two. Just those two.
Yeah.
Lucas Murillo from here, but he plays somewhere else now.
Yeah.
And I think if he was here, he would still be in the top 100. And I still think Rippy would have been in the top 100. But would they be the way they are now? Lucas Murillo's body has changed. You get what I'm saying? Josiah Jervis plays in Stepinac. They play in New York City, but people quote unquote say they're not a New York City team because they don't participate in the New York City tournaments. They play out of town and they trying to get there.
They play a national schedule.
They play a national schedule. Right? So salute Josiah Jervis because he's definitely no matter where he's at and where he's playing, he's gonna show people that he's still Josiah Jervis.
It's a great question though, Pooh. It's a great question, man. Can the city stay together and prove that we're good enough? Good question.
We gotta get out of our own way. Nobody can say that basketball heads, high school basketball weekly, anything that we got going on have shunned or shaded anyone. We've been willing to work with everybody, give everybody a fair chance, and do things collaboratively to help New York City grow. We're not trying to just be the only ones that say we the ones doing it.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
No, he said, do you believe he's the only kid from New York City in the top 100? I'm not going to say that. I get a vote, and I voted for more people that was on that list. Yeah. There were people that was on that list that I voted for. So I'm on the committee.
Yeah, who's in the committee?
Right? There's only 2 of us in New York City that's on that committee. It's me and my guy Dave from Dave Joint.
Yeah.
So you talk about 2 of the guys who don't have, we don't have any hidden motives.
No agenda.
There's no agendas when you get us. We're going to tell you exactly who belongs and who don't. But we're definitely going to be behind our New York City kids or our New York kids regardless. Because you have to have a voice on those committees that doesn't have any bias.
Yeah.
Like, you can't call me and tell me, yo, make sure you vote for my kid. If he ain't deserve it, I'm not doing it.
Absolutely.
Because it makes our credibility looks bad.
I know. I get offers all the time for money to write articles, Pooh, but, it's not what it's about. Same with rankings. Could you help me with rankings? I mean, I wish I could, but it's not my style. I can't, Wish I could help everybody out that way, but I wish people focused on the bigger thing, but everybody's got their own thing.
Yo, my bad. Yo, Jay, I get it. I know Musa from the Bronx, right? He plays out in the Island. I'm just talking about, again, we talking about Rippy. He's from Brooklyn. I know those things. But we talking about the kids that just playing in New York City. In New York City. Not the kids that's from Long Island. I'm not saying that. They're definitely well-deserved. And Musa made my All-NBPA team anyway. Yep. And I get that. But he wasn't playing on any New York versus New York team because he was out in the top 100 for Nike. Still doing his thing.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the kids that play in New York City. Go to school in New York City.
Stayed home.
So that's what I'm saying. Because there's so many schools on the Catholic side and the PSL side and the private that we still got to produce more players. And it seems like when we produce one, the schools outside of New York City snatch them up.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do to sustain what we're doing here in New York? And also to be able to sustain the star power that's needed in the NY versus NY.
We're going to have to wait and see, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen. Let me see some more of these Instagram posts. Cromwell Park coming to New York versus New York in the future. Oh, Crawley Park. Okay. Get New York players in New York versus New York. There were New York players in New York. I get it. They were. I get it. Trust me. Thank you. But the game is about to come on. I got 15 minutes to prepare. I know my guy B want to see the game. Thank you, everybody, for,
absolutely
tuning in. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure you subscribe. to the channel, like it, share the, share the content. And look, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back because there's gonna be a lot more things to talk about. All right.
Stay tuned, baby. Basketball heads.
High School Basketball Weekly. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding, here with my guy,
Brian Reichert.
We are out. Peace.
Peace.
Y'all know what it's about. Holla.